Welcome back, everybody, to Joe's Bibles. This is Joe, and today we are going to do a walkthrough and update of my journal because a few people have been asking me, are you still doing the same devotional routine? Are you still using your journal? And yes to all of those things. And so I thought, because this is the final week of November, let me give you an update of where I am with my journal and what has changed a lot. If you are not yet subscribed, can I encourage you to subscribe? I am so close to 5,000 subscribers. I just need a few more. I need about 50 more subscribers. Then I get to 5,000. So anyway, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, so now let's go on with my journal. People are going to ask me what journal cover this is. This is the Galen Leather Company journal cover. And it's a simple cover that you just wrap around your journal. This is what it looks like, and then you slip your the cover of your journal in these things on the flaps, and you get that. And also, this one has the pen loop, and so this is my pen. Someone's probably going to ask about this too. I use the Zebra Sarasa clip pen in brown. The journal, what journal am I using? So this is a journal that's been repurposed. So if you take a look at a video that I made about a year ago, this is actually a 2024 Hobonichi cousin journal. So that's from 2024. This is 2025. So what did I do with it? Well, I repurposed it because I bought two 2024 journals. And I'm like, I don't want to waste it and I don't want to spend money on a new journal. So I just repurposed it. So what does it look like repurposed? So when I started the year off this year, you can see 2024, that's the calendar year for this journal. I didn't really have a whole lot because I purchased this journal and then bought another one, the Sterling ink, and I preferred the Sterling ink. So I was like, okay, let's put this on the shelf until I can figure out what to do with it. See, look at all the blank calendar pages, the monthly calendar pages. So I thought, ooh, look at that. I drew that. Let's get to another spread here to show you what I did with it. Here we are. So this is the first spread of the year, and I put in all of this work, and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. So I took one of the weekly spreads, actually the weekly section, and what I wanted to do was to carry over what I had done in 2024, which is to record my highlights, record my lowlights of the day, right? So highlights of the day, lowlights of the day, and then my one sentence summary. And you can see I did really good for the first 4 or 5 days of the year. Did pretty good the following week, except I didn't put the lowlights or the highlights, but I was recording my thoughts and prayers. And again, did pretty good with everything. But here, this is the third week of January, and you can see it's starting to slow down. I really battled with consistency because it felt so burdensome to me to record all of these things in a day because life gets busy. So I pretty much gave it another go. And then finally I was like, okay, by April, it's starting to slow down. By April, by May, I was like, I can't do it anymore. So when we got to June, all of those good intentions in the beginning of the year fell through because it was just too much to do. So then I moved over to the daily section. Actually, as I'm doing the weekly, I was also doing the daily, and I didn't do so good in the dailies either because, again, life gets busy. So I would do like daily pages. Actually, these are what I record if I'm watching a video. Yeah, so I did pretty good in April, and then I just burned out. I think that's probably the best way to phrase it. I burned out on journaling. So I was like, okay, forget it. So I gave up on it until October. So here is my spread for October. So October is just sort of like this title page, and I did the typical bullet journal thing where you would write the days of the week or the month, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 31, and then the days of the week that correspond to the day of the month. And instead of doing a one sentence summary on this side, which I normally do, I just put the highlights and God sightings. And you can see I was fairly consistent with the God sightings and the highlights. On this side, I used it as a tracker because I was trying to memorize or commit to memory Bible verses. And these are the Bible verses that I was committing to memory, as well as keeping track of reading the Bible 3 to 4 chapters a day, praying, reading a book that isn't the Bible, exercising, that's probably the most consistent, and then reading Luke chapter 1 through 8 on a daily basis because I'm preparing to preach on Luke in January. So you can see, okay, that was pretty good. That was very consistent. And even in the daily pages, I was very, very consistent. This is typically how I would do my dailies. I would put my the present moment, whatever it is I'm feeling and thinking, on the left side, and then the passage that I'm going through in the morning, or chapters that I'm going through in the morning, and recording thoughts there. So very consistent all throughout October. And also just using this too to record notes of videos that I watch. Dodgers won! Anyway, let me continue on. Okay, October did really good. Now let me get you to November and see how I did that. Okay, so here is November. Same concept. I still have to fill these out. Title page right here, and I had my goals, which I also had goals in October. And then here are the highlights and the God sightings. Normally, again, I would put my 1-sentence summary here, which I think I'll do for December. But I thought, hey, this is more family, things that's going on in my life. So let me record highlights and God sightings. I stopped on the 19th. Today is November 24th, so I'm about 5 days behind. Again, this is my tracker. I'm memorizing the scriptures, similar scriptures from last month, but more. Tracking how many times I go and exercise, how many times I've read a book that isn't the Bible, how many times I've prayed specifically for the church, how many times I've read the Bible, or 3 or 4 chapters from the Bible, and then recording how many times I've read a section of the Gospel of Luke. So this month, I am reading chapters 9 through 16, and I'm fairly on track. I caught up with a couple of them. And then you see down here, now that I have read the Bible twice this year, ending in October, I wanted to commit to reading the New Testament. So this is a little bit of a plan. I'm not sticking to that plan. I'm actually ahead of the plan. These are more notes from videos that I watch. And then these are my dailies. Again, on the left side is my at the present moment, what I'm feeling and thinking, and then recording what I see in the scriptures in my daily devotional times. You can see I've been fairly consistent with my daily devotional, or recording my daily devotionals. I'm always very consistent with my Bible reading and Bible devotionals. I'm not always consistent in writing thoughts and some of the things that come up as I study the scriptures in the morning. So this is November 9. Let's get to today. So this is the spread for the last 2 days, including today. This is probably going to be the way that I'm going to move forward for the rest of the year. I put the date and the day up here. And then on the left side, instead of the present moment, I record the passages or the chapters in the scriptures that I'm going through in the morning. So yesterday, I read Acts 16, Galatians 1, Galatians 2, Galatians 3. And then I would just write really quick notes. And then at the end of that, this is the advantage of recording or writing in a notebook as you're reading the chapters in your devotional time, and just writing random thoughts that pop in your head, is that after you've recorded everything from the chapters that you're reading in the scriptures, then what I like to do is I like to summarize who God is and his heart as it shows up in these chapters. And then on the right side here are its random present moment type thoughts. This is my time in the Word today. So I finished off Galatians 4, 5, and 6. And then I thought about the context of why Paul was writing the letter to the Galatians. And then in these 2 boxes down here is my 1-sentence summary. And what I think I'll do in December, which is a week from today, is I'll go back to my typical spread that has the days of the month and the days of the week that correspond to that day. And in December, I'm going to go back to recording my 1-sentence summary from my devotional and putting it back here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a tracker again. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all of the Bible memorization or Bible passages for memorization, but I'm going to do some kind of tracker on this side. And just some thoughts here. Let me go back to the monthly or the weekly spreads that had great intentions but burned out. And here's what I want to say. You are not a slave to your notebook. If it feels burdensome or it feels like you're burning out, stop and ask yourself, why am I journaling my devotional times? And it should be because, at least for me anyway, I like to use my notebook to record what God might be saying and speaking into my heart through the scriptures, so that when I look back on it, I could see, oh, this is what God was saying to me. This is how God has been working in my heart. Oh, this is how I've been learning and growing in my understanding of God in the scriptures. Now, if that stops being a joy to you, stop. Don't do it anymore, which is pretty much what I did. And just do something different. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you use a daily journal.